Hello, welcome to Dan Talks United. Another Monday reflection, so it gives us a chance to go back over the weekend's games and the Manchester United game as well. So let's get into it. So it was Aston Villa versus Manchester United at Villa Park. So just going to do a quick recap on the game with fresh eyes, as I always say. The emotions run high on game day, but the next day you can sort of look back at highlights, watch match of the day maybe, and then just soak it all in and decide or get a better sort of viewpoint with less emotion on the result. So obviously still disappointing, that's not going to change because every loss is disappointing. Every loss is, you can't be happy with a loss. Obviously there's certain parts of the game or the match that you can sort of look at and think, yeah, we did well there or here, and pick out good points and moments. However, overall, to lose a game against any opposition is never a good thing. So, like I say, let's get into it. Rodgers gets 2 goals, and as I've said in the previous video, both goals really are avoidable. Watching the highlights back, you can see when the ball's played out wide from McGinn to Rodgers, his touch isn't great for the first touch, sends him wide out to the touchline. And for me, that's the trigger point for Yoro to switch on and just think, right, I'm going to burst over to him and pressure him because the touch is poor. He needs to get it under control. He's quite close to the byline, and I think you don't need to go in and slide, because if he misses the slide, then he's open. Then he just needs to go and pressure him. And then, as I was saying in the previous video, he then needs to just show him down the line. So if you can't get or nick the ball or put the ball out for a throw-in, he just needs to show him down the line, keep him on his weak foot. But instead, it's a bit of a jog, bit of a sort of half-hearted shit, really. And then Rodgers just sort of turns with ease, no pressure on the turn, then advances into the edge of the box, and Yoro still isn't pressuring him at this moment in time. And again, as I said before, Amorim must have shown some tactical videos. They've got a nice renovated Carrington. They've got a cinema-style room where they watch videos. Maybe you just got really comfortable in the chairs and fell asleep, because surely you've seen the videos where Rodgers is scoring wonder strikes, and you've just got to you've got to pressure him, you've got to show him on his weaker foot, you've got to stop that. And for me, the full-on blame is Yoro on that one. Still, don't want to hammer him, but it's true, and it's unavoidable in terms of giving him criticism, but the goal is avoidable. So, going on to, obviously then we level it just before half-time. Good pressure. So again, looking at the highlights, we've pressed high, we've done man-to-man defending. No real issues in Aston Villa's half. All the issues are in our own half, which you kind of want it the other way around, where if you're going to ease off on one of the halves, it's got to be eased off in their half where they're less of a danger. You don't ease off in our own half where they can score. So ideally, you want them to do both sides of the game, but if they're going to do one, then pressure in your own half. But anyway, we did well in their half, high pressure. It's led to a goal. Dorgu's nicked it off Matty Cash. It's fell through then to Cunha. Really nice strike from Cunha. 1-1 half time. And then second half, as I was saying in the previous video, I think we did continue to play well, to be honest. And I think overall we probably were the better team. But again, it's that pressure in our own half. Dallow's got the captain's armband on after Bruno goes off with an injury, suspected hamstring, and shows no fight, no desire, no aggression to get the ball. Again, the ball goes wide. Tielemans gets sent wide. He's over towards the touchline area, and Dallow's doing a bit of a jog across to him. No real pressure. As I was saying in the previous video, Tielemans is pissing about on the ball, wriggles a little bit, and then does a bit of a shitty cross really into the box, but it gets into the box. Dallow doesn't put his foot up, doesn't block the cross, doesn't attempt to block the cross, and then it sort of ricochets and lands into Rodgers' path. And again, I think Yoro was a bit flat-footed. However, I think he could have recovered and pressured Rodgers more. or pressured him, because I don't think he pressured him at all, to be honest. Just ran alongside him and just watched him shoot. So again, he needed to show him down the line of the box and usher him out of the box. Probably can't get him on his weak foot, but he needs to just get closer to him. And yes, you can't hit him, you can't touch him because he's in the box, it'll be a penalty, but you can get closer. He's just sort of running alongside him, and then, like I say, curls an effort in, doesn't really go in the corner. Still think that Le Mans could do a bit better with that shot, but it ends up 2-1. Now, we had our chances, like I've said before. Cunha had a chance close range with a header, quite a good cross, a lovely cross indeed from Dorgu. Should have hit the back of the net. Before then, as Martinez is coming on to replace Bruno, Martinez, again, nice bit of pressure, nicks the ball just past the halfway line, dribbles forward. Nothing really on for him, so he takes a shot. It's just a shame that he didn't, because he's left-footed, it's a shame he didn't shoot across Martinez, so to Martinez's left-hand side. And he's sort of gone for the near post and sort of bit of a outside of the foot that sort of curled away from goal. I think if he'd have shot across goal with power, I think it would have had a good chance of going in, or at least deflecting in, and that would have made it 2-1 at that time, actually. We would have been 2-1 up. So it is a shame that didn't, that wasn't a better shot, really. So, like I say, I still feel that Cunha overall was the man of the match, but then a close second for me is Martinez, because I think he had a really good second half coming on. I think he did all the simple midfield stuff well, simple passes, but there were good passes, there were well-weighted passes, there were passes into space so that player could then run on and advance. They weren't just like passing for passing's sake. They weren't just sideways. There were forward passes at times, or there were good sideways passes. And I just think he kept it simple. Not saying that would work every game, because although I don't think we need someone in central midfield per se to be overly creative at Bruno level, because really Bruno should be playing in a 10. I just think that sometimes, especially how we've been playing recently, it's worked well to have a bit of creativity in that central midfield. However, I'm not going to take anything away from Martinez, because he can play the ball between the lines very well, and I think with time, with games, with confidence, I think he could set up quite a few plays or given a few assists from that position anyway. So let's see what happens in the next game. So let's move on to the bit of a weekend roundup with our rivals and how they got on. So at this stage, we'll have a quick look at FootMob. Fly over to FootMob there. So as you can see, we'll start off with Newcastle, because that's at the top of the page anyway. So Newcastle versus Chelsea, that's ended 2-2. Only saw the highlights on this one. So Voltemade gets the first goal after 4 minutes. Decent sort of strikers finish, really. That's what you want. That's what you want to see from our Sesko, really. And then I was quite impressed with his second goal, because it was a nice cross in. I think it was from Gordon. Nice cross in, nice wing play, and he's just placed it into the back of the net. Nice finish. And again another striker's finish, but it was better than his first finish for me. And then moving on to I think it was in the second half there, Reece James so Chelsea get a free kick, probably just outside the box sort of area, and Reece James does a nice curling effort into the keeper's top right. Keeper couldn't have saved it, because he's on the side he should be on. His wall's in front of that side, and James has just curled it over the top of the wall. So nothing the keeper can do about that, to be honest. And then towards, say 66th minute there, nice sort of solo effort, really, because the ball gets played out, from what I can remember. I don't know if it was a goal kick or a kick from the keeper. João Pedro headers it, so it loops over the defender, who's like marking him man-to-man, sort of spins the defender, dribbles forward towards the box, and then just slots it in. So really good finish there. Moving on to the Man City game then. So they've won 3-0 against West Ham. So let's just look at the goal scorers. So we've got Robot Haaland gets a goal after 5 minutes. So his first shot gets blocked and then he scores after the rebound, after his blocked shot. And then Reinders gets the second goal. Nice sort of play. I don't know if it was Mamouche that was involved in it. Nice play, gets it passed into Haaland in the box. Haaland sees Reinders running through, passes it to Reinders. Nice intricate dribble from Reinders and then shoots into the net. And then the third goal for City. Haaland gets his second, routine sort of Haaland goal really. Ball sort of breaks free into the box whilst he's waiting. He just slots it in. West Ham did seem to have quite a few chances in the game. Jared Bowen must have had about 3 attempts. So there was every chance that they could have sort of got back into the game. But City had too much for West Ham, and it looks like City are really motoring ahead now, trying to chase Arsenal down, which there's every chance that's going to happen. So let's go to the next game then. We've got Spurs versus Liverpool. So we'll just have a look at goal scorers there. So, Liverpool go into lead after 56 minutes, but prior to that, Xavi Simons really, I don't know whether you want to call it a mistake, but he's pressuring his countryman, Virgil van Dijk, and he's trying to get the ball, but obviously Van Dijk's shielding the ball, and he's obviously the opposite direction to Xavi Simons as he's chasing him down, and he sort of raked his studs down the back of Virgil van Dijk, and first of all I think he was given a yellow, but then obviously it's gone to VAR, being overturned, and it's ended up being a red card, so he gets a straight red and sending off. So whether that's impacted the game, not sure, because I didn't watch the full game, only the highlights. However, going on from there, obviously Liverpool didn't score in that first half, but second half, lovely sort of play and pass through. I think it was from Wirtz actually. So Wirtz, is that his first assist? Wirtz assist to Isak. Isak scores. Nice, lovely sort of Isak type finish. And then I think he's coming to contact with Mickey van de Ven. And perhaps he's landed on his leg. And it looks like there's a suspected leg break there, which is unfortunate for Isak. So he's gone off. And then later on, 66th minute there, Ekitike gets his headed finish now. Again, decent sort of cross from Frimpong that sort of gets looped over and deflected. And then debatable, to be fair, whether it's a foul on Romero. So if you're a Spurs fan, you're going to want that foul. I think if it happens against you, you're going to want that foul. Ekitike sort of leaps, but he sort of pushes Romero, so there's no real chance that Romero can defend that cross, if I'm honest. Yes, he probably gets up first, but he does put his hands on Romero and sort of pushes him forward. He gets the advantage there. Header loops into the top corner. So it's a debatable one. It's one of those where it can be given, or it can end up where the goal stands. It's a tricky one. Then Spurs sort of attempt a last sort of gasp comeback on the 83rd minute. Richard Arlison, as I call him, or he calls himself, gets a goal. Bit of a scramble in the box, and then as the ball becomes free, he just slots it in bottom corner. But I think it was too late, and Liverpool get the win there. So, going back now. So, next one up now is Arsenal versus Everton, or Everton versus Arsenal. Arsenal get the 1-0 win there at Everton's new ground. And it was just that one goal from penalty spot. Gyökeres now, really, looking at the highlights, really stupid from, I'm not sure which play it was for Everton. Really stupid. The ball comes into the box with a cross, and then he just leaps with his hands in the air, as if to say he's a goalkeeper. He's there arguing, but you can't argue that. He's leapt in the air with his hands first, with no real intention of headering the ball. And obviously it's flicked off his hands. So it's nothing but a penalty for me. So Gyökeres slots it sort of central in the goal. T-Rex kind of, if you want to say, goes the right way, but it was quite central. So maybe a little bit unlucky that he didn't save that. But anyway, Gyökeres gets his goal, gets his celebration, and Arsenal keep that sort of lead at the top of the league. So back to the results then. So I think that pretty much covers everything. And obviously we've got our result there, where we've lost 2-1 at Aston Villa. So what does it mean then for us? Obviously the results are a bit mixed in a sense. Obviously in terms of rivals, Chelsea playing against Newcastle, obviously a point apiece, so they've dropped points there. So it sort of helps us a little bit, sort of keeps Newcastle behind us, but also slows Chelsea down that are in 4th position. So, like I say, a bit of a mixed weekend for us, really, in a sense. So we'll just have a quick look at the table. So know that we are 7th in the league, so I'll just switch that over now back to football. So as I said earlier, Arsenal keep on maintaining their first position on 39 points. City there in 2nd, Villa in 3rd, Chelsea in 4th, Liverpool have jumped into 5th and starting to show some form now. Sunderland are still there or thereabouts in that 6th spot. We're there in 7th, and then, like I say, a bit further down, Newcastle in 11th spot, and then Spurs even further down in 13th spot. Like I say, we are, what's that? 3 points, is it? 3 points off top 4. So, yes, it's put us back a bit. It's definitely put us back a bit in the sense of league position and obviously progress for where we're going to finish. However, we're still sort of there or thereabouts. We just can't now drop too much points going forward now, especially without our missing players. So our missing players that are injured, but also our missing players that have gone to AFCON. So we just need to sort of stay in that sort of touching distance to give ourselves a chance of finishing as high as possible in the league. So obviously we've got Newcastle next at Old Trafford, hoping that we can start to get a bit more momentum now, start to, like I said before, stop conceding sloppy goals as we've done now again against Villa and we did against Bournemouth. That needs to stop. We're going to have to play better again, especially defensively, to get anything against Newcastle because they are a good side. They have been a bit hit and miss and probably a bit roller coaster like ourselves. So tough one to call, that one, in terms of how that's going to finish. So yeah, bit of a mixed weekend really. And it's on to the next game, Boxing Day, 8 p.m, Friday, instead of Monday this time. So, as always, thanks for watching Dan Talks United. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.